I wanted to take a minute and talk about the devastating wildfires that are happening across the United States, specifically the ones that are happening on our western coast in Oregon and California. Since today's guests are from Oregon, I only thought it was right to try to do something to help them out. If you are listening to this podcast and you'd like to try to donate some money, you can get on to OregonCF.org. That's the Oregon Community Foundation. They're taking up donations to help relief and recovery of the wildfires. There's also a host of other donation sites you can use to help out. If you have the extra money, if you have any loved ones that live out there, do whatever you can to try to help. That's a really bad situation. Welcome to the 12 Hike Podcast, where we talk about all the ways you can get outdoors. This is Zach Jenkins. Thanks for listening. What would you say if I told you there was a conservation group out there that buys $500 cars, makes them look outrageous and crazy, and then drives in the backcountry and picks up trash? Enough trash that they fill up cubic dumpster fulls. They pull out full living room suites, refrigerators, boats, cars, you name it, they clean it up. Not only that, they're a worldwide organization. Not only that, it was started by a few guys in Oregon just a handful of years ago. Well, today's guests, Tate and Andy, are the OGs of what's called the Gambler 500. And they do all of those above things. So sit down, strap in, it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, real deep. Yeah, wow.
All right, sounds like everybody's in.
Oh, sweet.
Can you hear us okay, Jonathan?
What's happening? Yep. What's happening?
Johnny O.
Tate, what's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Same
So
old, same old.
Do you guys know each other, or...
I know Tate.
Yeah.
I do not.
Okay.
But he's a goddamn legend. Everybody knows Tate.
Oh, well, that's what happens when you invent your own club. You know,
Exactly.
It's like everyone's got to kiss the ring. I used to have this event out at my parents' farm. It was the Morgan Clan Highland Games, and I was really into like powerlifting at the time, and so I wanted to like have a contest, see who could like throw the biggest shit the farthest. And I was lifting a lot, and I was definitely the strongest, and so I could throw the shit the farthest. And my sister was always making fun of me for like creating a competition that just so I could win. So it's kind of what the Gambler turned into as well.
Yeah, so me and Jonathan did a podcast a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about like Sons of Smokies, picking up all kinds of garbage and stuff out of the back country, and I thought, oh, these guys are a conservation group. They're really looking out for the forest and stuff. I get on your website, and I start following the Facebook page, and the Gambler 500, you guys are batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's
Wait
accurate.
a second. So wait, dang, bro, you never been on a Gambler?
Never, ever. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Wait, but didn't I follow you? Didn't I find something that did you do a chop top challenge?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. No, I'm not in. I've never been into that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wait, why is it called Dang Bros?
Dang, bros.
Are you in the wrong podcast?
So, how much of that Gambler whiskey have you drank this evening?
No. Someone reached out to me.
Why,
and wanted
you a
to do it.
cop or something?
Yeah, you a cop?
I thought Dang Bros that pizza place.
I know, it's a Dang Bros pizza joint.
Yeah, the Pizza Bros.
So let's start over. My name is Zach. Thank you for listening to the 12 Hike Podcast.
Yeah.
No, I just so I started this podcast to kind of explore.
Oh
ways.
shit! Yeah, it's the hike one. Yeah. I know what we're doing now.
I'm just trying to find ways for people to get outside and have fun. And
and you know what? And I thought when you first reached out, like I thought this is perfect because at the end of the day, like we want to be the segue to relate to the hikers and the bird watchers and the campers, which Andy and I are. We go out in the forest all the freaking time without beaters. Go, spend nights and weekends, out and just enjoying the outdoors. And I feel like there's always a little bit of a disconnect between motorsports, which tend to be loud, and then there's kind of the outdoor enthusiast, which a lot of times tends to be quiet. And I feel like from a cultural standpoint, we're all using the same resources, so we care about the same thing, and so that should come first before our differences. But at the end of the day, a lot of times, I don't know, outdoor enthusiasts and motorsports people kind of clash, which I understand completely.
Yeah, but how did you evolve a contest of throwing heavy shit into a pretty much United States wide organization that gets shitboxes together and drives them around a rally course?
Well, the first thing, the heavy games thing that was just me loving, to win. That had nothing to do with the gambler. The gambler started when, we just had some friends. We wanted a competition, and we were all kind of, approaching middle age to a degree. And I got a couple kids and a wife, and most of us did. Uncle Andy is still searching, still searching for that special gal. But we just hey, what's cool and fun and cheap? And we were always going out and camping and sitting around a campfire and maybe shooting some clays and just sitting around in the woods drinking beer. And we're like, well, why don't we do something? So we went and bought $500 cars, and we actually did race them. But we all understood that speed limits had to be adhered to. So we kind of made it a thing about navigating. So we picked different waypoints, navigation spots, and we had to kind of map our ways around them. We met in one place out in the middle of Central Oregon, and we camped and told stories about our day, and then we did it once more. But we never really tried to make it we never tried to sell it as a big event. It was just kind of something we did internally. But then we made a video with some friends. Andy had a buddy work for the shorts company, Chubbies. Chubbies. Yeah. And they made a video. They got 50 million views, and everybody said they wanted to come do what we were doing. So we said, okay. So that's how it's. But now it's just completely gone off the rails.
It looks like you guys have a lot of fun in life.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I took a mini bike across a 20-foot wide pond this weekend.
Wait, you didn't make it all the way across.
And I tried to water skipper it.
Yeah,
it didn't work out.
I thought you were going to say about Iceland, because at the end of the day, the 12 hikes, concept, I think. But so our whole thing at this point is seeing different places from a completely different perspective. Everyone has these canned adventures of, it's like, hey, I want to go see Iceland. I'll go sign up for this tour and that tour. And you're going to take the same pictures that 10,000 people, 20,000, 100,000 people took before you. But why not go see that place with a bunch of Icelanders and see it from a completely different perspective and have a completely different experience than anyone has ever or will ever have? And that's what we ultimately do. So the big gambler event in Oregon is fun and cool and everything, but I think getting out and going to Ireland, going to New Zealand, going to all these Iceland and Mexico and Canada, all these other places is what it's really all about. COVID kind of screws all that up, but we'll just work through that the way we work through everything else.
Yeah, and I could imagine that seeing your guys' rigs roll through the woods to a standard hiker or your normal nature enthusiast is probably a little unsettling.
It is, until they see us, until we're hiking out together, and they see the cubic shit ton of trash that we haul out. Because hikers, for the most part, pack it in, pack it out, right?
Yeah. We
hauled out 500 cubic yards of trash out of the forest at one event this year. 500 cubic yards is, 12, 13, 40-yard dumpsters, which is the biggest dumpster you could actually get.
Yeah.
So we're talking about boats.
Yeah.
We're talking about mattresses. We're talking about literally 20 different living room sets worth of furniture that these people they don't have the money to dump in a regular dump, so they go out and take it out of the middle of the forest.
Shingles.
So once they see that we are doing far more for the forest than anyone, we're over 1 million pounds now in over 4 years. 1 million pounds of trash. No other singular organization has ever been able to do that, especially in the amount of time we've been doing this. And it's only because we focus on manpower and getting people out there who actually do things rather than just conjecture and slap on a keyboard about how they need to talk, care about the environment. We go out and we do it. So I love hikers. 1,000%. I'm with them. And I am a hiker. But at the end of the day, we're getting out and we're getting shit done. So, don't judge a book by its cover.
So did you and Uncle Andy grow up in Oregon? Is that where you're born and raised?
Yep.
Yeah. We literally, Andy drove we live out in the county. We each have some acreage out here, and he's about half mile down the road. Yeah.
Probably third of a mile. Yeah.
Third of a mile. Yeah. I don't know, about a 30-second mini bike ride.
A single beer on a walk.
Oh boy.
He's got a Labrador. We're staring at digging a hole over there. His Labrador shows up like clockwork at my house about at 9 a.m. because he loves my 8-year-old Labrador who wants nothing to do with him.
I think by the end of the podcast, he's going to be, we won't see him anymore. He's digging such a big hole out there.
So growing up, did you guys spend a lot of time out in the woods?
Yeah. My dad was a scoutmaster, and I'm an Eagle Scout, so I spent a lot of time with scouts.
I thought they were all stupid. I want nothing to do with that.
But yeah, I hiked a lot with that, and then I got into hunting when I was 15, and through that we end up putting a lot of miles down trying to find stuff.
We were just blowing stuff up though, and like driving like crazy lawnmowers. Yeah, we did a lot of seemingly redneck stuff. And I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. Like I'm an Orthodox Democrat. I was born one, by blood. And Andy's like staunchly a little bit more on the conservative side.
Well, my mom's.
It's a good story to tell. Let's just tell. Let's
just
tell the narrative.
Yeah, right. We're the yin and the yang.
Well, I think me and Jonathan can completely understand with the blowing stuff up. I mean, we were from Southern Ohio.
Oh, you said Southern Ohio?
Yeah.
Where's Miami University? Is that down there?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit northwest. We lived right in the very southern tip. Like, if you know where Columbus is, we were 2 hours south.
Yeah, I went to Oxford, Ohio for an event a long time ago. I was surprised. I had no idea what Ohio was like. And they were like, yeah, there's like poisonous snakes. And
Oh yeah, Ohio can be kind of a crazy place. But where we lived, there was nothing to do. I mean, that where we lived would have been perfect for a kind of a gambler chapter because it's a bunch of rednecks that love modifying cars.
Land,
Not a whole lot. That's the problem.
So that's the funny thing about, and we've always been the concept of cheap fun and cars has always been associated with rednecks, which I have zero problem with a redneck. I got zero problem with a hillbilly. I got zero problem with like any really buddy in any race, shape, form, sex, age, or whatever. But as long as you're accepting of people and you want to go out and do good. So I don't know. We've probably got more hippies, but hippies and rednecks got way more in common than the kind of general masses want to give them.
Yeah. No shower.
That's a big problem too. Just like if you kind of get everything from the news and don't pay attention to people by themselves, you can kind of convolute that a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You get off social media and you get out into the real country and you figure out that hippies and rednecks are just about the same damn thing. And those are the people who don't pay attention to those. I don't know, the common social media traps of just. At the end of the day, it's all Zuckerberg and Bezos and all those guys just want to sell you, boxes of Cheetos and Tide and all the other bullshit. So it's not real discourse.
And I think that's, from what you just said, it sounds like that's kind of what makes the gambler group kind of like this little tight-knit community. You guys all care about public land, and you look past each other's differences and find common ground.
Yeah, we don't accept the difference, and not to be hippy-dippy, about it all. But if people have, differing, approaches to things, we just leave it at the door, right? Like this weekend or this time we're spending is all about the outdoors, enjoying the outdoors, picking up the outdoors, giving motorsports a good name.
Maybe going for a hike if your car breaks down.
Yeah, I know we do a lot of hiking. Actually,
From the pictures I've seen, you guys do a lot of hiking.
Oh, we do. Yeah, because our cars break down quite a bit, and we invite those opportunities.
It is fun. You're like, oh, remember that time?
But you quit once we were done with the Iceland Gambler. You quit, and then you went for a 2 or 3 day hike.
I went. It was a 24-hour.
You talk about that. I gotta go turn the corner.
Yeah. Have you been to Iceland?
No, I've never been.
Okay. There's so I met this guy, one of the gamblers. His name's Julius, and I met him while hiking up this big hill, almost mountain. I mean, it was really tall, and it was up above where our camp was. And so we both hiked up and had some beers up top there, and we were watching this guy hiking down below us, and he's walking up this trail, and then he just kind of like all of a sudden kind of lays down and like keels over, and I'm like, it's the land of the midnight sun, so it's still light out at midnight, and I'm watching this guy, and I'm like, hey, don't you think we should rush down there and help him? And he's like, no, he's just resting. It's what he does. He gets tired, he rests. And I'm like, but he's just like, he was just walking up the trail, and now he's just keeled over. And like, we were probably 1,000 yards away, or probably 800 yards. And he's like, no, I'm sure he's fine. That's just very common. Like, people hike and they get tired and they just lay down and rest, and then they get back up and keep going. And sure enough, we went down there, and the guy was like, what do you want? We're like, oh, just making sure you're okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really weird. So but I ended up meeting Julius, and he was like, do you like hiking? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, I'll take you on a hike. And he's like, I'll pick you up in Reykjavik. And then we ended up driving. I think it was like 2 or 3 hours away. And we ended up we started at a waterfall. I don't remember what it's called, but it's this big, beautiful waterfall. Looks like something out of Disney or something. And the plan, we started at 7:30 at night, and we hiked through the night across like a couple glaciers and like a volcano that blew up back in like the mid 2000s. And it was just like every time we started to get tired, we would get like glacial water out of this like river next to us and make coffee, like instant coffee. And we did that all through the night. And at like probably midnight or 1, he was like, we're going to time this right, and you're going to feel like a god as we go over this like mountain. So crested over this mountain, and it's like the sun never really sets, but all of a sudden it started to rise again, and it illuminated this whole valley down below us. And it was one of the better moments I've ever had on this earth, hiking out there. But yeah, we punched, I think it was like a 24-hour hike, just kind of nonstop. And then we got to the end and slept pretty hard.
I was going to say, did you keel over and have people worrying about you?
Yeah. No, it's just fine. We just hiked over.
He does this all the time. He just lays down.
He just lays down, yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. And then we got in these like lifted buses. And I thought, oh, they must be lifted because the snow, like half the year, must get real deep. And he's like, oh, no, this is for the river crossings we're about to do. And we take these buses through these, like, raging rivers, and you really feel like the bus is about to just take off. But we got back to the main highway, and then we had to hitchhike for about 20 miles. And I thought, like, I'd never hitchhiked before. I just thought, like, man, isn't that kind of sketchy? And he's like, oh, no, it's super common over here. But it took us an hour to get picked up because we're like, I'm 6'7", and Julius is 6'4". I think people were kind of creeped out by us.
So while you were over in Iceland, what were some of the major differences you noticed between like where you live in Oregon and there, like cultural?
They eat horse every day.
They do.
They do.
Say what? They eat horse every day?
Yeah. Okay. So you take a little jaunt through the heartland of America, and you'll see a lot of like cattle. You take a little jaunt through anywhere in Iceland, and every field is filled with horses
or sheep.
I maybe saw some sheep, because I know we ate a little bit of some lamb leg while we were out there, but No, they eat horses, and that's fine. We have adopted the horse as what is it? A charismatic megafauna is what.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
No, but it's something that's important to you because you think it's cute, right? Like so, but at the end of the day, it doesn't affect like its real value, and so like people eat horses into other places. Actually, it's the perfect thing. You can ride it, and then you can eat it.
To its
like,
death.
and at the end of the day, we ate horse. I made my kids eat horse while we're over there, but they really downplayed it because of the social stigma. But we ate whale there too. Yeah. Which I don't support the mass. I ate such a thin slice of whale though, and I've been a hypocrite and an asshole in so many other parts of my life. I don't think that's what they're gonna come at me with at the end of it when I meet Peter at the gates, whatever.
I don't know. You might be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean their diet's obviously different than us. The landscape is like it's just like
gravel.
It's just like gravel everywhere, like black sand.
It's pyroclastic debris. As a son of a USGS hydrogeologist, it's basically all pyroclastic debris.
It was cool having him there.
My pops came with us too.
He talked to us about rocks.
Basically, just rocks that get shot out of the earth.
But that was surreal. There was a lot more like lush green landscape than I anticipated.
Down low,
down low, where it was just like
it was very young. But you watched that Top Gear episode where Jeremy Clarkson drives a Hilux to the top of a volcano. I mean, that's basically where we were. So yeah, all the low stuff had been around for a long time, and then all the high stuff. Literally, there was no growth up there. We would throw sleeping bags next to the lake. It'd be light out at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And we throw our sleeping bags out and just sleep for like 4 hours and then get back on top of mini bikes and ride for another 10, 12 hours.
Like the sound of these waves just gently lapping at the shore, and you're like sleeping in a cloud on this black sand beach. It's just like, so hard to describe like what that's like. It's great.
Yeah, go to Iceland.
Go to Iceland.
But get off the beaten path.
Totally.
Don't go pay for the nickel tour.
Yeah, you ever go to I could set you up with Julius. He's so cool.
Well, the more you talk about it, the more I want to do it. But what I'm having trouble wrapping my head around is how you started this in 2014, right, Tate?
I think so.
Yeah. Yep.
How in God's name did you get from you and your OG buddies just riding around Oregon to making this a worldwide thing?
So I mean, Uncle Andy was there the entire time. Actually, but no, you said you didn't want to do it the first time I talked to you.
Oh, I was like, this is an insane waste
he's like, I don't have $500 just to throw in the toilet.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot, but it's nothing for any sort of motorsports. But we did for 3 years, just for giggles, and we wanted to keep it kind of secret and underground. And then we made the video just because we thought it'd be funny. And then 50,000 people saw it, and so they all approached.
In like a day.
Yeah. They approached us and said, "Hey, we're going to come do this. How do we register?" And we're like, "Well, we don't really. It's not exactly what we're doing. We literally only had 60 people doing it, and we're talking about what I thought at the time would be about 500 to 600 people." So I said, "Okay, why don't we just allow people just to come do this crazy shit?"
This corn or what?
No, we're shucking the corn. Sorry, I've been cooking corn on the barbecue. And so instead of saying no, we just said yes. Let's just see what happens. And so I rented a big parking lot, and then I rented a big ski area, Hoodoo, up in the Cascades, thinking that they could house the 500 or so people that I thought projected would come out. Fast forward to Saturday morning, and we're sitting there, and we had a couple of my media people that I always loved. Fred Williams from Dirt Every Day, he's got a show on Motor Trend, and then Jesse Combs, who just recently got anointed as the fastest woman on four wheels because she broke the land speed record. Unfortunately, she also crashed her jet car and is no longer with us. But she was there and also became a real good friend afterwards. And so everyone's gathered up in this big parking lot, and instead of 250 cars, we get 850 cars, which equaling over 2,000 people, which was far too many than I thought would be able to accommodate what we were trying to do. But the culture that we had kind of laid out, which is don't be a dick and do more good than bad, was pervasive, and you could tell that was why people were there, and everyone really understood it. And that's why we were able to do this without security, without permits, without anything, because at the end of the day, we were pulling so much trash and shit out of the forest that it wasn't just a message of do good, but also just don't do bad. So even the shitheads that showed up that would have maybe normally tried to, burn everything down or throw beer cans out the window or all the stupid shit that, we try and people keep out, they weren't doing it for that weekend. So that's just kind of what we push. And so people understand that. And our whole goal is not just to pick up trash, but also be a deterrent, to be an educator, to teach people what's cool and what's not. Because far too many people in social media and media glamorize this whole, kind of send it dumb lifestyle where being an environmentalist is somehow a political thing, which it should never be. You should be able to vote for Trump and like the environment. That's fine. We don't give a shit who you vote for president. We just care about keeping our forests open and free and cool and rid of trash.
Is that just the most attractive feature to being a gambler? Just that culture that you've created? Or is it the fact that you get to take a crappy car and make it crazy and hope that it runs?
Ooh. I think it's definitely both, but it's the medicine and the spoonful of sugar. So, the car thing is cool, but if you had invented a rally that said, hey, let's go clean up the forest, everybody would be like, fuck you. Okay. It ain't happening. And so, you have to create something that kind of sneaks it in and is cool. And so that's the pervasive thing but then you figure out that coming into camp with a refrigerator or a bedroom set or a boat strapped to the top of your car and everyone's just cheering and thinks you're the coolest, cat in the whole place, then that's what it's all about, a transition. Because we don't expect everyone. That's the problem with today, is that if everyone fucks up on the internet or says something stupid, or they're not allowed to change their mind. So if we can educate people and get people to change their mind and change their habits, then that's a win. We're not looking to cancel anybody. If you thought throwing your beer cans was cool a week ago and now you don't, then that's a win. You're my brother. Arm in arm. Those are the people that I want involved in this. It's when you sit there and preach to the choir, back and forth and everyone's nodding because you all know it's not cool to litter, then you haven't done anything actually. It's great. We all agree. We're all good people. But let's go reach some people that haven't been reached yet.
That might be a little bit of a problem. I know where you're talking about being in the Eagle Scouts, Andy. Those people were mentors and brought up a generation of people that appreciated and respected the resources that you have. Right. Do you think that's missing today?
You mean in just society as general?
Yeah, society in general.
Yeah, I think that there's certainly, we see it when we pick up litter on the road, even around our place around here. And I've been that guy that followed high school kids to their house when they threw a big gulp cup out of the window.
Oh.
And you probably threw big gulp cups out your window when you were 14 at least. We've all screwed up. I've been way worse.
But yeah, but I did get those kids to apologize. And I didn't have the time to go back and watch them pick it up. But I was like, if I go back there in 2 hours and it's still there, I'm gonna come find you. I don't know if culturally, I certainly see a lot of litter on our road that's Dutch Brothers cups and stuff that's, I would imagine from younger kids. But then you also see those online social media challenges where people put a photo of a totally trashed area and then they pick it all up and they put the, next photo after cleaning it all up. So, I don't think that there's just this complete disconnect. But there is, the amount of screen time that we're all, even myself, I do worry that there'll be a disconnect from nature, and that people will lose that.
The before and after cleanup pictures, I've got to wonder how much of that is genuine and how much of that is just for self-congratulation and, oh, right. Look at me, look how awesome I am.
Yeah. And that's hard to say. Ultimately, I don't care. If they're picking up trash and they want to celebrate it or not.
Well, unless they're going and taking picture of a pristine area first.
Right.
And then dump it on the trash
And look what I did. I did the opposite.
After.
Yeah.
That's sneaky. You just gave somebody an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll hunt them down and kill them if they do that.
And where me and Jonathan come from, that culture of respecting the land, it's tough, isn't it, John?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, John's back. No, I mean, yeah, because we're gun owners. I mean, I got a bunch of AR-15s and pistols and everything sitting in my gun safe. Like, I'm not the quote unquote snowflake environmentalist that everyone would like to paint out there. Like, if you're out there dumping, like if I can't get you arrested, then I'll fuck you up. Sorry, I don't know about swearing on your podcast. Earmuffs.
Yeah. That's okay. I'll mark it as not kid friendly. You're fine. Do you guys have any requirements for the gambler rigs, or is it just kind of like open season?
Oh, I'd say open season.
You win by having the cheapest rig and being the coolest dude. So you can't cheat by spending too much money.
Yep.
So that'll never happen. So it's not something you can buy your way out of. So if you want to build a big crazy rig, cool beans. If you want to bring your brand new Ford Raptor out, cool beans. Like, help people out, that's fine. Ford Raptors are fine. But like, at the end of the day, if you show up in a clapped out Peugeot, anything French built.
Oh, right.
Like, or like,
car?
or what is this? Yugo or a Lada, like any of that stuff. That's how you're gonna get. We have people show up in a Reliant Robin. That's that 3 car. Yeah, no, like anything and everything. Giant limos to crapped out shitbox daily drivers. You could drive that Geo Metro to your gas station job every day, which I worked at gas station for 3 years growing up. Pizza places, everything, and if you show up and your daily drivers at Geo Metro and you couldn't come out to the Gambler and pick up trash, then hell yeah, man, you'll be celebrated.
So, Andy, you still rocking your original rig? Is that right?
Yeah. This was actually the first year since 2014 that I didn't start with my buddies on opening morning, because my involvement with Gambler, a lot of what I do is all the swag production and fulfillment and sales. So we finally got to a point where it's like last year I still gambled, and then it was like super stressful getting into Gambler Town and having to, set up all the swag stuff.
Because we're talking about, we had 6,000 to 7,000 people out last year.
Yeah. This
year was a little different because of COVID, and we wanted to be responsible and socially distanced, and we pulled it off, like, somehow remarkably, and picked up twice as much trash. But yeah, it's evolved into a full-on, like, a festival of sorts, and we want to be less about swag and probably more about a brand.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of different stuff.
I still got out in the Cadillac. The guys, they pulled up and they're like, dude, we just found a jump down the road. You want to go hit it? I was like, yeah. So we went and we broke our bumper off.
So did the term gambler, did that come from like it's a gamble to get your car to where it's going to go?
Yeah, and that was Tate. And I was like, dude, that seems like kind of a very general term. But he's like, no, dude, it's perfect. It's like a gamble. And I was like, all right. I was like, I think we should put it on the back of the shirts so that if you're like slumped over in a bar.
Wait, that was you. You turned this in that. Yeah, that was Uncle Andy's idea to put it on the back of the shirt. Yeah, like you wanted everyone to know, like, yeah, if you're in a bar, you see a gambler from across the bar and call him out.
Yeah, like, hey, gambler.
Hey, gambler. We started out calling it the Scumball 500 because that sounds like Gumball 500. And we wanted to be about like shitty cars, but then we found out that there was already a Scumball in Europe somewhere.
Your guys are all about the call out culture, because I see stuff on the Facebook page all the time, like these little memes and posts, like, all right, which one of you shitheads was in Nevada, and it's a car upside down or some crazy looking car.
Yeah, that never ends up well for whoever did that.
That kid that was at King of Hammers.
No, well, that kid, but the one, no, that.
Oh, are you guys talking about the Mustang kid?
Yeah.
No, well, that kid wasn't even a gambler.
Yeah.
Hold on, Mustang kid.
Well, but some dude left. We were invited by Dave Cole, who runs King of the Hammers and Ultra 4 Racing, to come down there and hold an event there in Johnson Valley, and we did it, and we pulled it off. And we had a great time. We way too long down
Way
there.
too
But
long.
somebody left an off-road Mustang down there, and everyone just said, hey, you stupid gamblers, you left your car out here. So we put a call out there, and we gathered it up. And then my buddy Larry Chen, who shoots for Hoonigan, who I'd spent some time out in the desert with, released a video of this Mustang. They were out hooning around the desert, and it turns out the kid had nothing to do with Gambler. And we found out the kid's name, and so everybody lit their torches and went after him. So I had to kind of pull back a little bit, because I didn't want what to happen to him, what happened to Tyler, which is another kid in NorCal who lost his job and a bunch of other shit because he left a car out in the woods. And it all comes from inexperience. Not everybody understands that you have to be responsible for your actions. So kid bought a car broke down. He didn't have the resources to get it out of the woods. And those are just the facts. And so he didn't know to ask for help or to do anything else. And 12 months later, the car's still out there, and we just let the dogs of war go.
Oh my God, people are so mad.
He got chewed up and spit out. So at the end of the day, we got his job back, and we taught him a valuable lesson. But yeah, don't leave cars in the woods.
Jonathan, what's your car, or what's your gambler rig?
So my gambler rig is that's my daily driver. I'm partake of the cheater class. It's the Jeep Cherokee.
A Jeep.
Jeep.
So we need to break down the classes, because you guys have a lot of different stuff on your website. There's mini bike, cheater, tough truck. What's all that about?
Yeah, I mean, we just say yes to everything. So, I mean, mini bikes were an easy adoption because Coleman got in with us, and they're like, hey, whatever you guys are doing, we want to be a part of it. And everybody loves mini bikes because they're terrible. Like, they are punishing. Like, you try to take them over any sort of like terrain other than flat surfaces, and they're gonna make you answer for it. Like a pond. Or Uncle Andy's wrecked on mini bikes more than anybody else I think I could ever mention. But yeah, then we do the tough truck stuff with the Monster X Tour, and it's just kind of all about going and having fun. That's cheap and not really about competition, just more about seat time. So we do the Hoopty Cross racing, which we just got done with up in Chehalis over this weekend. And I don't know, like, my entire approach to all of this is be less about trying to manage and hold on tight to whatever valuable IP there is, and just say, hey, why not just everybody go out and have fun, and we'll just kind of just see what happens. So it's not your normal brand or company approach to and money has always been kind of second, because of that. But we were also the largest rally in the world and the fastest growing motorsport and the highest yielding nonprofit, like as far as like actually getting shit done. Yeah. So I think there's a lot to say for just letting the reins go and just letting people go do what they want to go do.
How are you not on ESPN or something like that?
I don't know.
That'd be funny.
That would be funny. I guess that could happen, but we're only 4 years old.
Maybe on like ESPN 4 or whatever.
But yeah,
that's a good. Everybody starts somewhere. That's.
Yeah. But there's something to be said about a pirate ship too. Anytime you get too involved with something that's corporate, they're going to want to come and suck the life out of it. And so we are there's no overhead here. Like, we didn't have a round of investors and all sorts of bullshit layers to this. It's at the end of the day, it's just, me and Andy and Chuck and whoever, is involved with at any local level. So it's not the same. My wife's a corporate attorney. Like, I know how to go down that road of just layers of horse shit. And like, that's not what I didn't want to ruin this. That was my number one concern from day one, is don't fuck this up. So I think that's how we approached it, is people and fun first, and then, money and, crap later.
So do you have any kind of idea about how many people are involved worldwide?
Last year we're looking at about 30 something. So this year we're probably, 40 something. We'll double.
40 million?
40, no, 40,
okay.
40,000 people.
40,000. Okay.
Actually involved, like boots on the ground involved in the rally. So we have 200 million digital impressions. That's a word I didn't know 2 years ago. Digital impressions annually. So that means 200 million different times that people see us, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or over the Googles. And so that's a number that is, when you're talking to advertisers is important, but we're a little picky about who we partner up with.
Who did you partner up with to get a whiskey brand?
That's just 100% us. Yeah. That's
Really?
Yeah. No, so 503 Distilling is a local distiller. So, but we own the brand 100%. So yeah, the whiskey brand is all us. We let brewers and stuff do Gambler beers all the time, but yeah, no, the whiskey business is all us.
It's a shame you can't ship that stuff. I wouldn't mind having some.
Yeah, sure. We hope to. That's the whole goal is to get it, over to Ohio and everything. We're in 4 or 5 states now, and we can ship it through Bacchus, but there's some states that don't prohibit you shipping directly. But yeah, the whiskey biz is that's where I want to be.
Pretty good too.
Yeah, the winter whiskey's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're in version 3.0, and it took us a while. First version we kind of cranked to get out by rally time. It was okay, but we've learned a lot in the whole process. So I have to say thanks to 503 Distilling. They've been great with helping us with all this jazz. So we're stoked.
As far as like Gambler classic rigs, have you seen any rigs that have blown you away that have stand out over the years?
Number one, it's always got to be Isaac Riley, who came literally year one that we were open. He brought the 80-foot articulated city bus. So, it's literally got 8 sets of like dually wheels on it. It's like
giant,
and he put tractor tires on it. Yeah.
And it's got a hot tub in the back. And I remember he was at a bar drinking beers, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to bring this big old, double TriMet bus. And we were all kind of like, this guy's pulling our leg.
He was full of shit, but then he shows up
with I was broken down in Sisters, Oregon, and I see a bus go by down this, narrow street. I see a bus, and then it just keeps going. It got the
well, they knocked all the windows out of it, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's screwball. But, yeah, we've got there's Jordan Foster on the stretch. He's got a giant 30-foot stretch limo on 52-inch Michelin tires. Like, it's a monster truck.
Yeah.
Toyota.
That one's cool.
Yeah, he put a nice Bayliner on a Toyota chassis, but it looks gorgeous. It has a big tower on it and everything. He calls it Toyota. But there's at least a dozen boats that come out.
So, and I personally like Patrick that year, he did like a Lincoln Mark 8 or I don't know, whatever. It was an old grandpa's car. And so his whole shtick is he like dyed his
Mark
hair.
7.
Yeah, he dyed his hair gray.
Yeah.
And then he had a bag of Werther's Original.
Yeah, I was handing them out to everybody. Yeah, I don't think enough people have embraced the theme. We really love costumes and themes and, not exactly like Wasteland Weekend. We don't want everyone to dress up the same, but we want everybody to...
Like, dressing up like an old man is just
That's
weird.
Hilarious, yeah. Hilarious. You're not getting any clout by dressing up like an old man, except for with us.
Yeah, because it's not all Mad Max, like, make your rig look dystopian crazy.
No, not like me and dystopian. Good word. No, because we don't... It's the opposite. We're all self-deprecating, so you can make yourself look worse or, like, less threatening. That's the key. Yeah. We're not really about being aggressive.
All right, so, Jonathan, how you make yourself look self-deprecating when you go?
I've only done the inaugural New Mexico Gambler, and that was kind of a shit show. So I just went and got stranded in the wilderness for a few hours, and that was about it.
Wait, was Zareen running that?
Yeah, that was the one that Zareen was doing.
And and Gabby?
Yep.
Yeah, Gabby and I just chatted for an hour the other day. She called me up. Gabby's great.
Oh, yeah.
Zareen's the ice queen. So
yeah, she lit
it.
Nobody's going to stop saying nice things about her.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Although I did do a custom modification to her Isuzu Trooper she's taken across country.
Oh, good. What?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't find a plug for the EGR valve, so I just used a nickel.
Use a nipple?
A nickel. Not a nipple.
Nickel. Use your nipple.
Use
You know,
your
my
nipple.
nipple's about the size of a nickel, bro.
Yeah.
I don't have big nipples. You got
Took
big
a lot of trial and error to find the person with the right size to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a nickel. You got a nickel-sized nipple.
Nickel nipple.
Nickel.
So what made the inaugural rally like a bad experience? What happened?
Oh no, it was a fantastic time. It was great. We all enjoyed ourselves. We only had 6 cars on the inaugural. We knew it was going to be muddy, and that's why I didn't take my Geo Metro. I took the Jeep. So it was muddy, slushy. Well, we happened to make a wrong turn, and we got turned around in the wilderness, and we couldn't find our way out. So nobody was really prepared other than Gabby. We had no food, no water. Everybody's washing their hands and washing their windshields with beer. That was all we had was beer. That was it.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, like nobody was prepared because it was only supposed to be about a 6-hour run, but it ended up turning into 2 full days.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it was
That's the gamble.
exactly. It was a great time. I had a blast, and we didn't die. So
Actually, I've been on ones like that where somebody's all pissed off, and the first thing you say is, "Well, I'll get your full refund ready."
yeah,
Because the whole point of all that is just like these are all fun, cool adventures you have, and you don't know what you get into, but you ain't paying dick for it.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna go out and you're gonna use your car on public lands and pick up trash, and in return, like you're not gonna pay a penny for it. And that's the whole love of it.
We don't really have a customer care team.
I couldn't imagine.
it's like no real complaint department here, huh?
So, and really, at the end of the day, that's kind of like just the overall message: go out there, have fun, clean up.
Yeah. And be self sufficient, I guess.
Yeah.
Reliant.
Yeah, we found that one out. Be self-sufficient.
Bring water. Bring water as well as beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy organization. I really need to dig deeper into it. Is there an organization here in Boulder or Colorado somewhere?
There is one. They're a little different than us. Brett Pratt, Josh Pratt, and his wife run that down there, and they're a little different than us, but they do a great job. So yeah, the Colorado Gamblers right there. They're based out of Boulder.
I don't know. Those are places.
They came up with the OG, and they're the nicest people you'd ever want to meet, and they do a great job. And they cater. They do probably more infrastructure than I was originally asking, so they have to charge for it, and which at the end of the day is fine. I mean, we're all judged by our events and stuff, but New Mexico and SoCal and a lot of those other ones are just free and fun and punk rock, which is the way we always envisioned it. But the Colorado one, you're going to get a little bit more pampering on, and so you're going to, I don't know, pay $20-40 to do it, which is still the cheapest weekend of fun you'll ever have.
So with COVID, has that really rocked your guys' events this year?
I think that we still had probably 2,000 people approximately.
Probably 3,000. It cut it in half.
At the OG.
It cut it in half, which I was pleased about. We did dispersed camping. So before we had 6,000, 5,000 people in a big rock quarry and camping,
and a lot of
Mad Max Thunderdome shit,
swilling booze and sharing
just
vessel.
Yeah, that was last year. So this year I was happy to see half the people show up, but we collected twice the garbage because everybody was out in the forest cleaning shit up rather than
partying,
slanging booze in the middle of a rock quarry.
But yeah, we had our swag set up was nice. We took over a old abandoned grocery store.
It was a haunted mall.
Had a bowling alley.
Holy Christ.
That's a story for another podcast.
Some weird as shit, man.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do a follow-up on that because I want to hear more about that.
People seem to really respect we had our clear, we just used old roofing from a barn. That.
It wasn't stuff. Old. I went down to the goddamn store and bought it brand new.
We used some dude.
And don't denigrate my clear roofing that I wanted to use.
Don't denigrate our shopping experience.
Well, but we take it seriously. So I mean, all this.
Well, there were masks in the giveaway bag.
Yeah. We put masks away and all the swag bags and stuff that we did. And I mean, again, we don't want to politicize any of this stuff, but at the end of the day, if you just respect and value your other human beings' right to space, and get all this shit done with, then that's what we're about.
What's the future looking like after everything settles down with COVID? Do you have plans to grow it, make it bigger? What's going to go on? Just
maybe like 10,000 people.
We're looking probably, we'd like to shoot for 10,000 people for 2021.
At what point can we get like our own mayor and our own?
Right. Well, it's more of a rally in the sense of like Sturgis is a rally. A bunch of people show up and car culture from all different walks, and they can get a hotel if they want. They can go to a campground if they want, and they can come to Gambler Town if they want. It's just a big, wild, crazy, fun party, and you may not agree with everything or everybody that shows up, but as long as the general consensus of not being a dick is adhered to, then we're gonna have a good time.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I mean, for us, the nonprofit sonsofsmoky.com is 100% of those funds that go towards that. And I want to say thank you to Worthy Brewing for our kind of founding endowment. But 100% of those funds go towards the collection and disposal of trash. So there's no lobbyists or salaries or even hard costs for us being paid for. It literally goes to dump fees for typically counties that are collecting their own trash off their land to go to there. So it is the most accountable nonprofit, speaking from an environmental standpoint, that exists out there, because this is all the side hustle. Like we're doing this to accomplish good things. This is nobody's job at this point. It's literally just paying for all the good shit that people are already doing. We rely on the backs and the labor of all the gamblers that are out there, and we say thank you to them. So,
jog my memory. I had one more question. How does the Department of Natural Resources in your area feel about you guys going out and doing this? Have they been pretty receptive? I hope so.
It's been a hate-love relationship.
Not at first, but they've provided us with a lot of guidance from them when they said we couldn't do this. We just kind of changed and adapted, and so I'll be honest with you, when we started with 12 cars, this wasn't about picking up trash. But when they said we couldn't do this anymore, we said, what if we did this? And that's how we kind of evolved into what we are today. And so instead of trying to bang your head against a wall, you just kind of look around the side and say, hey, how do I get over or around this, objection? And so we work very closely with the Forest Service and the BLM out here, and on a national level. So, what's funny about the DNR is they don't have a presence in Oregon. I don't know what that is or how we're so. But the Forest Service and the BLM are who we deal with, but there's no Department of Natural Resources to be,
And I think that's just like my Ohio talking.
No, but they have it in Washington, so it's around. It's all the different, which I enjoy about the U.S. is all the different states have different associations. But yeah, we play very nicely with them for the most part.
That's a calling card for all the successful conservation groups. They don't butt heads. They find common ground solutions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's another group here in Colorado. They're called CORE. They're just a bunch of off-road Jeep guys. And they had the same problems. Like they adopted 12 or 13 backcountry trails that were getting ready to be shut down.
Yeah.
And instead of, pitching a fit and throwing their weight around, they went to Colorado Parks and Wildlife and said, hey guys, instead of shutting these down, let this dedicated group of people maintain these trails. Would you keep them open then?
Yeah, I was looking at that. You guys had them on a podcast a few issues ago. I saw that. I was interested. Yeah. It's a Jeep. Anytime I see the word Jeep, I get my ears perk up.
Yeah, it's interesting. The more I do this, and the more people I talk to, I realize there's a lot of fringe and quirky type of groups that you don't really think about with conservation, but they're all about it.
Yeah, well, that's right. Everybody gets on my case because I tag the Sierra Club on everything I do, and people are like, oh, screw those guys. They just all they want to do is shut you down. And I was like, well, then that's my audience. Like those, like I already have everybody that's on board with Gambler. Why don't I want to go show the Sierra Club what we're doing and what the benefit of partnering with us and with the motorsports community? Because there's half this country or more that are apathetic and don't give a shit about the outdoors. And so why not just gather the people who do give a shit, save the outdoors, and then argue about how we're going to use it afterwards.
I like it. That's a good way to think about it. Best way to get a hold of you guys through Facebook?
No, gambler500.com. thegambler@gambler500.com is the email. I mean, Instagram, I don't know. Facebook, to be honest with you, I'm over Facebook. Facebook, I get the cold sweats anytime I feel like I have to open that goddamn app, so I'm not into it. Instagram I'm okay with, but the website you can access this. There's something.
Jonathan, you got anything you want to add?
Well, sorry that I was just a fly on the wall. I've had some technical difficulties, throughout. I had to reload twice and find a second set of headphones, but so sorry I didn't have a whole lot of participation in this.
I feel like you made this happen, so thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, of course. It's like any time that I can bring, new people to the Gambler perspective, I think that's a plus.
Well, like I said, whenever he brought it up to me, he made it sound like this, granola conservation group. I was like, oh, these guys are gotta be pretty cool. And I look them up, and I was like, am I looking at the right thing?
Who are these assholes?
Yeah, cars with bull horns and lawnmowers and toy bodas. There's no way that this is the same group.
Stuff there, man.
No, and that's the thing, though, because we have to reach new audiences, and people know you can slap a Patagonia jacket on and go down to the coffee shop and meet all sorts of people that agree with you, but if you go out there and you'll find a whole new segment of people that hold your same core values but just don't look quite the same as you, and that's what we're aiming.
Well, to be fair, if you walked into your local coffee shop with a helmet that had bull horns on it, you're not very approachable.
Mess with the bull, you get the orange.
And well, in Iceland you are.
Mm-hmm.
They all wear horns on
Oh,
their
yeah,
helmets in
everybody.
Iceland.
You get off,
everybody does it.
Yeah.
That's the Viking in them, man.
Yeah.
Tate, Uncle Andy, thanks for your time.
Absolutely, thank you.
It was really nice.
See you, Jonathan.
Thank you. Yeah, see you guys.
I want to thank Tate and Uncle Andy for spending the time to tell me about their awesome organization, the Gambler 500. It was really awesome of them to start an organization that does so much for conservation and have as much fun as they do. If you'd like to find a chapter near you, I'd encourage you to visit their website, see if there's one near you, or see if you can start one of your own. If you'd like to follow 12 Hike, you can find us on Facebook, 12 Hike, or you can follow us on Instagram, 12 Hike Challenge, and we are currently working on our YouTube channel as well, where we're going to be posting some video interviews as well as trip reports and product reviews.